Good morning, folks. I have a Magasock account here, and this is your update from the other side. This video is Hope Core. Their awareness of the files is everywhere, all over my FYP. Almost every video I'm being shown in my algorithm over there. Okay. Creators small, creators that are huge, all of them saying, what the fuck? A lot of them talking about how Pam Bondi said that if the names get released, the system will crash. Well, guess what? They're saying the same thing we're saying. Let it crash. Burn it the fuck down. If the system is corrupt, it needs to be replaced. That's what they're saying. We're saying that too. Clearly, they are diving into the files and they're shook. Okay. A lot of them were conspiracy theorists and they knew about a lot of this stuff, but the ones that didn't, they are shook. All right. And they're wondering why no one has been held accountable, just like us. Why aren't there arrests happening? What the fuck's going on? However, they aren't really naming any names. They aren't naming him yet, but some are, though. Watch the last video in this series. I just didn't see that today so much. They are defecting in droves. You see these videos calling out the DOJ, calling out, saying that it's not one side or the other. It's not right versus left. It's up versus down. You look in the comments of these videos and people are in agreement. They're done. They've admitted that they voted for him multiple times and they are no longer supporting him. So they're getting more vocal, or maybe I'm just being shown it more in my algorithm, but it's out there. They are leaving him in droves. They were before, but this, so many of them are saying, look, if it's their side or our side, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's on the list. They all need to be held accountable. And with that, I have a clip to show you.
So I think we're all aware now that the files have been released, and there's something really interesting happening here that I've yet to understand, but I'm going to give you my take on it. You remember back in school when there'd be a group of kids that got into doing a bunch of stuff that they weren't supposed to do? Drinking, smoking, possibly other things, and you've always got those parents that want to pin it on all the other kids. Like, oh, well, such and such a child is doing this, the other kid's doing this, but they can see no wrong in their child because it's their child. They got those blinders on, that they don't think that their child can do any wrong. And the whole time, their child is one of the main ones that's into it, the ones that's, that's bringing all this trouble in and doing all these things. But the parent is just too blinded because that's their child. They want to see the problem in everybody else's child. And I think that's kind of the situation we have right now between Republicans and Democrats. When these files released, everybody on the Democrat side is wanting to pin it on Republicans, Trump, etc. Everybody on the Republican side is pinning it on the Democrats, Clintons, etc. And that's really sad because at the end of the day, with the things, the terrors, the atrocities that were happening in that place, you should no longer care who they are, what their stance is, their office, any of that. You should not care anymore, because if they were involved in something like that, even if they're on your team, they don't need to be on your team anymore. They need to be swinging in the trees or in the streets, and heads need to be rolling. But it's just this deal where people are so caught up in being a part of something else that they put those blinders on to what's going on around them just so that they can feel like they belong to something. Why? So it's okay if somebody on your team was involved in those things, but if they're on the other team, terrible. Y'all better start looking at your inner selves and start understanding that following other people never gets you anywhere, but following morals and the right thing is always the right thing to do.
Now, I took a minute to dig through that guy's profile, look at a few videos. I couldn't tell for sure that he was a 47 voter, but he's absolutely anti-DEI, anti-diversity. Okay, so you can make your assumptions from there. That's a small average guy, small creator, average Joe, right? And then I saw creators with a couple million followers saying the same kinds of things. Even on Tucker Carlson, his guests, saying, I voted for this, what the fuck? Okay, so the takeaway today is this. The anger and the reasons why we're angry and the focus of our anger is starting to converge from the left and the right. We're starting to come into the middle. Now, that said, though, a lot of these people on the right that are now coming to this convergence with us are still dangerous. They're still dangerous, especially for people of color. Okay? So please, I'm not excusing them. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying you have to do anything. You have to break bread with them or nothing. I'm just letting you know that they are saying the same things that we are saying. Burn it down. Burn it all down. If it has to burn, it has to burn. We don't care who's on the list, which side. All of them need to be held accountable. Okay? They're saying things like the government, we can't trust the government to protect us. It's on us to save us now. Obviously, because they're all corrupt. This entire system, because of the files we see, is corrupt. So what are we going to do now? Why aren't we doing something? Why are we just going to work and clocking in and paying taxes? They're saying all this stuff too, but just keep in mind for folks of color, black and brown people, they are not safe. I'm not suggesting that they're safe. I'm just letting you know that the narratives and the anger is converging into one focus, which we have to try to figure out how to take advantage of somehow without giving people a pass for their shitty awfulness. I don't have the answer to that at all. Okay. All right. Last thing I want to tell you, update wise, is, and I've been screaming this from the rooftops forever to anybody who will listen, but please, if you want to understand a little bit more about the mind of the comrade in the very cold country in Asia, the very cold, large country in Asia, that if you're Gen Xer, you grew up with like the propaganda and the fear of this country. If you want to understand what really happened in 2015 in the 2016 election and the mind of this man and his motivations, please, dear God, go to YouTube and pull up PBS Frontline Putin's Revenge. Okay, please. Because if you ask me, he is one of the roots of this problem. I don't know if he's the only root, but he's one of the roots. And if you watch that 2 parts, 2 hours, part one, part two, an hour each, and it was free on YouTube last I looked. If you watch that, it will give you so much insight into why he's been meddling in our bullshit for the last decade or more. Okay, at least since the 2016 election, meddling in our elections. Please go watch it. Okay, that's the updates for today. I want to let you know I may not make any more videos for a week because I'm going to be traveling and I'm going to be driving back cross country from the East Coast. And I will be in the part of the country where I might or might not see Trump signs. So we will look. I will look for that and I will let you know the vibe and what I see as I drive all that way. So I won't have a lot of time to be looking at the news and stuff like that. But rest assured, if something like majorly earth shaking, like huge happens, I'll try to make a video and go see what they're saying. All right. That's all for today. It's going to be okay somehow. Okay. It will. Have faith, keep the hope, continue taking actions, call your reps about the files and the SAVE Act. That too. Thanks for watching. Take care.